What's your favourite dinosaur? What is your favourite dinosaur, Liz?
What's the raptor?
Velociraptor.
They're the ones that kill in Jurassic Park.
They do some damage in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you see Jurassic Park at the big screen, the first one?
Back in the day?
Yes.
How old are
See
you?
if I think just less than you or about the same, 42.
Oh, mate, I'm turning 50 next year.
Okay. All right. Well, you're winning then. You've got more time. But so you would have been high school when that came to the movies.
Yeah. Was it the 90s?
Yeah. I remember. I think grade 4, grade 5 maybe for me. So you would have been edgy high school.
Were you born in 82?
82 model. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Same as my husband.
Oh wow. Good. He's got a good year. Got a good tenure. Yeah. So, mate, I remember when the movie came out, and just because, like all young boys and girls and everybody else, I was just jazzed on dinosaurs. So excited. So cool. I can't wait for this little creature here to watch it. And then if I was to be honest, as a Jurassic Park buff, I just want them to keep making them every couple of years too.
Yeah. Have you seen the latest?
Lost World?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm across that one. We've seen that one. That's good.
Have you been to Universal?
Not with the Jurassic in it. We're actually going as a family for the World's trip to Florida.
Amazing.
End of this year, so I think we could get some Jurassic in there as well.
Do it.
Should be good. Now, enough about me, Liz. The world wants to know who you are and what you do. Historically, we give you 21 words and or sounds to come up with that. So no pressure. Kendra's counting. She's really good at it.
Okay. Can my name be 2 of them?
You can have 2 words to that.
Liz Craven, non-athlete, party girl, turned athlete, CrossFitter, that somehow got to Worlds one year and then became completely obsessed. I've used too many words. Obsessed with powerlifting, now coach, gym owner. Is that too many words?
I think you've nailed it. And that was one of my first questions. I was going to ask, what came first, powerlifting, coaching, or gym ownership?
All right. So when I was growing up, I didn't even play any sport. I was an art nerd, if anything, and then I became a big party girl in Sydney. And when I moved to Canberra, I joined the gym on a whim, and my coach got me into CrossFit eventually, and I was actually not bad at CrossFit. And
because that would have been, what year was that?
When it first came to Australia, 2008.
Yeah, I was going to say that's some early CrossFitting.
Yeah, hardly anyone could do muscle ups or anything, but I was pretty strong in the gymnastics and in the barbell, but I was terrible at all cardio, which I still am. But I had not done any of that kind of training before. And once I did a couple of CrossFit competitions, I realized I was really competitive and did not like losing. And I became obsessed. And
what was the comp scene for CrossFit back then?
So we used to do regionals. We did states, and then we would get to regionals from there. And then from there, we would try and get to the Worlds, which is what's called the CrossFit.
Yep. Did you make the gate?
No. I made the regionals. And then the next year when I was training up, I got pregnant to Abby. And that was when I had a strength and conditioning coach. And he said I had the right build for powerlifting, and I had no idea that powerlifting was even a sport.
So it's like 2009, 2010 kind of era?
Yeah, 2010. I actually did a capo comp, was my first one. Was it Pete Weatherall?
With Pete Weatherall. OG.
Yeah.
Whereabout in Wollongong?
Wollongong,
Or,
yeah. My
yep,
first one. And I
yep,
won because I was like, but I did not lift the most, but I didn't realize that it was based on your size to
yep.
weight, formula.
Thank you,
And
Boss Brenner.
yeah, so that was fun. And then uh, Pete, my other coach, Pete Sutton, he was trying to get me to go to nationals. So I had to
Yep,
qualify, and I'd just given birth to Abby in September, and I had to qualify in December. So I
yep.
remember I went to the comp, I was breastfeeding to make
Oh,
weight. And then,
rad. What a trick. Breastfeeding to make weight.
yeah, new technique around, don't
Yep.
recommend. And then I made weights and I made the qualifying totals and I went to nationals.
Whew.
I
Which
was,
Nats was that?
that would have been 2011. So the
Where
year
was
after.
that?
So that was Powerlifting Australia. Remember them?
Yep. Yeah. That's going back, eh?
Powerlifting Australia in Melbourne. We always used to have it in, I think it was the Arrow Hotel.
Oh, cool.
So altogether, there was only
Hub comps.
30 something girls in the whole female section of
Wow.
nationals, and I didn't win, but
Yep.
I eventually started getting a little bit better and focusing because I didn't realize that there was any, as I said, a sport where you didn't have to do cardio. And once I
Yep.
found out I could just lift weights
Lift weights.
and then compete, I was like, well, I'm hooked. But I was still
Yeah.
partying a lot.
Yep.
Um,
Tricky
and
balance.
yes, and then I managed to talk my way into going to Worlds, which was 2013 in Russia, because
What? That's
yeah, it
cool.
was amazing. That was Suzdal, and
Wow.
I was training there because it's like a training camp. So everyone
Yep.
stayed in the same place where the competition was,
That's
which is
cool.
wild.
Yep.
Lots of nights I can't remember, but it was fun.
How
But
long was training camp?
so it wasn't actually a training camp. It was the World Camp, but we could
Yep.
train
Oh,
in the facility there. They had a big gym as well.
I love
So
that.
we were there for about 10 days and
Yep.
we went back to Moscow and had a look around there, and which is pretty cool.
Yep.
I got to see all that before
Wow.
everything happened.
That's cool.
But what happened when I was there, the Russian coach saw me squatting and he said to me, if I coached you, I could make you one of the best squatters in the world. And that just lit a fire in me and made me
Yep.
go, well, maybe I'll try.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah, I like that idea, yes. And then when I came back, I had been doing more of a West Side style training.
Yep.
And then when I came back, I went to RTS. Do you know Mike Teixeira?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
Opposite to West Side.
Yeah. He still liked chains and stuff back in the day in bands, but different because you were deadlifting every week, and it was and that actually worked really well for me. And then in the next couple of years, I added more than 100 kilos to my total, and I was breaking world records in my garage gym, which was really cool.
Stop it.
That was good times.
Stop it. So you were taking open world records in your garage.
Yeah, well, it took me a while before I could actually do that in real life, but as you know, it's very different.
Yeah, garage to the gym. A garage and gym very different to event and platform and podium.
Oh yeah, you know.
Yeah, they get in the way. Like, I mean, they allegedly know the rule book, right? And I think as us coaches, we could argue that we know it better than what they do. And we're always right. And they love being told that too, right?
Yeah. As a volunteer, you should still listen to us, the coach. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, I very nowhere near the track, but I always welcome feedback post comp from lifters when we run them, and every now and then people will take it up. Some is great, some is very aggressive. Your referees were this, and I listen to everything, and then I finish the conversation exactly the same. I was like, well, obviously you are passionate about the rules, and I love that. This is a voluntary role, and we always need more refs. So if you'd like to jump in and be a part of this because you're so passionate, perhaps you could do it. I'll give you a comp next week. And they're like, oh, I just
I don't want to get yelled at.
Yeah. I was like, now I know. So 2013, first Worlds. Have you done a Worlds every year since?
So 2013, I think it was 2013 Russia, and then I did South Africa, and then 2015 I had a bulging disc in my neck. I was going to the Arnold. Have you been ever? So I went to the Arnold twice, once for the Grand Prix and once for the general lifting.
Yep.
And a disc bulged in my neck, and I was paralyzed down my tricep and rotator cuff. So this was 2 weeks out. So that was a bad comp. But
it still competed though.
yeah, I still competed because I'd already paid for everything. I was like, oh, I better go. And so I didn't go to Worlds in Finland, which is a shame. That would have been awesome. But then I went Texas, and that was when I started winning medals, and I won bronze overall. So I'm still the only Australian to ever get overall medals at Classic Worlds in the IPF.
Wow.
I'm sure they're changed soon, but
across male, female as well.
Oh, both. At that stage, I was the highest ranked lifter in not tested male or female for at least 7 years until lockdown.
Wow.
But,
how cool is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it just was. I didn't appreciate it because it kind of felt like I had the right body type, and once I get obsessed with something, it's all I think about and all I do.
Yep.
And it kind of felt easy, so I was a bit arrogant back then, but now that I'm getting older, I can see that it's not easy, if you know what I mean. Now that the juniors are coming, the juniors are
them
here.
Strong.
Yeah, they're so strong.
Them strong.
But
I call myself a hobbyist.
Oh yeah, do you still compete?
A little bit, like let's call it at a hobby level. I'm fortunate enough to do deadlift only at Worlds. I did that last year. And I'll do that this year. And I do like a bit of a local comp on the way through to get through to do that.
Your favorite?
Yeah, and it also lines up well. It's my favorite lift as well. So I find with the dynamic of coaching being my priority, family life, works, all the other things, it can be tricky to try and juggle 3 lift kind of prep in there, particularly at like what I'd like to do with it. I'm not quite ready to just have a comp. I like to try and do my best still.
When you do it?
No, well, I take out a few metrics. I make sure I don't cut weight. I just go as is. And then, so for me, I sit 113, 114. I could easily make 110. And I'm sure if I ate more salad, I could cut to make 100. But I find if I can remove that stress and then just go and compete and be the best I can, I'm not really too fussed in trying to chase podiums or anything. Just be happy with what I can do is what I'm at. And that's been the last few years, particularly post-juniors. It's been good. And I did a back injury similar to you. My favorite year post back injury, a couple of years back, I did 6 comps in 1 year.
Yeah.
It was glorious. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. Like, got the back rehab, found a comp, jumped in it, prep, found a comp, jump in it, and just kept rolling. You get
so much better at competing doing that.
Yeah. My ability to compete was extraordinary. I enjoy that. I much prefer that style of training versus sets and reps, which is great. And then, the big thing I talk about now with everyone, I'm sure you do too, is like comp day is fun too, right? Like it's a fun experience. So like if you enjoy that experience, why not do it and get around it with it?
Game. If you love football,
go play more football. And like one of my favorite comps, I did 2 comps 2 days. I did a 3 lift on a Saturday and a push pull on a Sunday across 2 different feds because they both lined up. Those comps are on the same weekend. One was a capo on a Saturday, and GPC down here locally in Brisbane had one on a Sunday. And I was like, this is sick. I'm going to do both. And I did the push pull equipped.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Just to mix
it up.
Just
because I could. Yeah. Did you mess around with equip lifting when you first started, or you were kind of coming in when that was kind of finishing up?
So when I started, like my training partner, Megan, she was still lifting equipped, and Pete Sutton, who was my original coach, he was still doing a lot of equipped. But I came from CrossFit, so I didn't want to deal with that. It took me a long time to wear knee sleeves, wrist straps, anything like that. So
any of the toys.
Yeah.
See, I think a lot of people will agree that CrossFit, I think, was a big proponent for powerlifting to get growth, right? Everyone was doing barbells. Everyone had similar stories to yours. I don't really like this running bit. Lifting barbells is fun.
Especially how much it's grown for females, because CrossFit got barbells in so many girls' hands, and they realized they were strong and that it wasn't so scary. But it brought raw powerlifting in, didn't it? And people realized they could just train without having to have six other people there to help them and keep them safe. Yeah,
and $1,000 worth of equipment.
Exactly, which you have to change every time you change weight. It looks brutal. Have you done it? I've only done.
Well, I started lifting a little bit before you. I did 2008. I think it was my first comp. And so when I first started, Raw didn't exist. It was all equipped. Everyone was single or multiplier. So, like, I just had my coach was worked for me at a Pizza Hut, and he was like, I've got this gym under my house. You want to come train? You look like you go to the gym. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. We went train there for a few months. And he's like, oh, we got a comp. You want to do the powerlifting thing? I was like, yeah, whatever that is. Yeah, let's do that. And he goes, oh, here's this suit. Put it on. It's like, oh, it's quite tight and uncomfortable, but I guess everyone else was wearing it, so I will too. And then that was it for the first few years. Like, all I knew was suits. I didn't really know or know anything about Raw. Raw was something we did until 8 weeks out, and then you put your stuff on.
Yeah.
Were you doing no, it was pretty linear, pretty standard stuff, like pretty basic training back then. We pretty much trained until we were cooked. Started with 8s, dropped a set every week or dropped a rep every week. Trained until we trained until we got sick. That's about when we were supposed to deload. The buddy was telling you to deload, have about a week off, and then you'd put your gear on, and that'd be about 8 weeks out. And then work up to a single or something thereabouts.
And that works forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was good. We had year-on-year progression every year. It was basic. We'd just look back at, oh, yeah, cool, last training run, there was some milestones, like, say, 5s at 200 was your 5s, and you'd just be like, all right, I'll try and get 10 at 5, try and get 210 for 5 this next training run, or a couple of blocks later, and we just ran that for years, and every year we got stronger. It was a fun way to train, but, like, we were lunatics. We were squat suits in runners. Walked out. Walked out because we didn't have, monos were rarity, and we're training under house. We didn't have a mono for us either. So we're walking out in runners. I've got all these old photos where I'm in a pair of literal joggers in a squat suit and wraps and looking hideous on the squat. But it just felt normal because you didn't know any different, right?
I used to do that kamikaze squat where you just dive down and pray to Jesus on the way up. And we all used to wear volleys.
Yes.
Yeah, volleys.
I had volleys. Yeah, I did a volleys era. Yep. Yep. Volleys deadlifts. Yep. 100%. That a great lifting shoe. Nowadays I'm fancy. We've got it too good now, I think. You go on City Strength and there's City Strength website and all the other ones that are kicking around, and you've got a myriad of different styles of shoes and colours and stuff to choose from. I remember our first squat shoes came from QWF, Queensland Weightlifting, out at Chandler, like where they do their ollie lifting, and they were the only place that sold squat shoes. We were like, well, that's Olympic lifting shoes. We got them.
Yeah.
First chance we got out of runners, we're like, absolutely. What was your favourite worlds? You did.
Oh, my favourite worlds was Texas. That was I was finally coming into my own. Like I did a squat and it was good, and then I was going for 147.5. I think at that time the world record was 151 or something. So but I missed the second one. I totally misgrooved it or whatever. And then the third one I came out and I got it, which was just that feeling of absolute relief and getting that squat, and then eventually getting an overall medal was amazing.
And first female, first Australian to get it there.
Yeah, in Belarus, which was the next year, I got silver, but it was a bit bittersweet because I dropped my last 2 deadlifts.
Oh.
And if I had not, I would have got gold. So you know how it hurts. I can't even watch that competition to this day.
Just at lockout?
Yep, just at lockout, and I never dropped my deadlifts, but it was like the lights were hot and they had gymnastic chalk and there was turning to slime in our hands. Yep. And We weren't allowed liquid chalk at that time.
Yep.
So that was a bad time. But anyway,
It's,
I mean, I'm
it's,
going to blame the equipment, not my strength.
yep. No, I'm with you on that. I think it's the chalk's fault.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I mean, yeah, that's a little note. Like if it's hot like that and they've got the wrong chalk, that can make a big difference. Geez, that must have been annoying though.
It was annoying. A lot of people dropped their third deadlifts, but so it was me. Do you remember Marissa Inder?
Yeah, I was going to note you guys used to have some pretty good battles, eh?
Yeah, I think I've beaten her twice. She's beaten me twice, but she's beat me at World, so that she beat me worse. She beat me better.
Dang.
But
Dang.
she's my good friends. Like we're still good friends.
Yeah, I mean, and that'd be a cool thing for someone who's trained and competed so many worlds and traveled so much. That must be one of the cool side things, all the people you get to meet, the relationships you get to build, right?
Yeah, it was bizarre because so we're obviously Belarus was 2017. Australia got kicked out of the IPF, and then there was like the fledgling um, federation, and
Yep.
most of us that were powerlifting Australia stayed powerlifting Australia for a long time just because of the structure and all our
Mm.
friends are there. And
Yep.
so there was no real internationals. Like I went and did the world powerlifting stuff, but I mean,
Yep.
I had more competition at nationals, to be honest. Do you know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep.
for a couple of years, we all had to tread water, kind of thing. And then lockdown happened just when I went to the new IPF then, and
Yep. Classic.
yeah,
Thank
so
you,
then
David.
2 years more treading water, and then I managed to get to Worlds again last year in Malta.
Yep. Yep.
Um, not this, I didn't go this year, but maybe next year if I manage to win nationals again. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Like I would not be anywhere near medaling, but I would love to
Yep.
be in the top 10 if I could.
Yep.
It'd be nice.
Expensive.
I'd be 50, so that'd be like
We
30 years younger
yeah.
than me.
Yeah, yeah. What was it? Obviously, I mean, the answer is yes. I'm assuming it would have been quite hard to be sitting on the bench, so to speak. Were you paying attention to what's happening at a world level and internationally while you weren't competing overseas and couldn't?
Yeah, I mean, my friends were still competing, and it was a crazy time because none of us knew who to believe or everything that was happening, but we eventually
Yep.
worked that out.
Yep.
And then it was just really like it was such a waste because I was at my peak for those
Yep.
years, and then you can't maintain it without competition, you know.
Yeah.
Like I can
Yeah.
still get as strong probably as I was then, but the
Yep.
girls, the juniors, or not even juniors, like juniors and opens, they're squatting. My world record was 160, 156, and now it's 175, I believe. And I will not,
Jesus.
and that's at a 52 kilo weight class, and that's not happening for me.
Yeah.
I'll go
Yeah.
for the
That's
Masters world records. How about that?
yeah. Can you do those at a open worlds? You can still do masters records.
You can.
Ah, there you
But
go.
I will
Would
probably like lots of my actual clients
mm,
are masters now. They call me the
yep.
masters whisperer. But so I'll probably go to Worlds with them next year, which will be
Yep.
fun. I'm from South
Yep.
Africa, and Worlds is in South Africa as well. So
Oh,
I
meant
immigrated
to
here in
be.
the 80s.
Ah.
Did you say
Yeah.
you too?
No.
Oh,
Just saying. Can't
yeah.
really pick up it. The accent's not quite still there. Hey.
It is after a few wines. You just
Ah.
you get to flatten your vowels and pop the call.
So, would you try and do a masters worlds at some point in time, or you feel like you're not ready to get out of the opens yet for yourself?
I like the opens, but
Yep.
the last time I was there, it was quite hard because I'd gone there. Like this will sound stupid, but or arrogant. I don't know what it sounds like, but we're in 2017 when I went there. I was kind of one of the top contenders, and then going back and being very like I think I came 15th or something the last time, but it was a
Yep.
weight class, but it's a very different feeling, and I didn't know anyone anymore as much.
Yep.
Because lots of my
Yep.
friends have gone to masters, but so
They've all
I think
moved
it's
in.
almost time. As an
Yep.
M2, I can go to masters.
Yep. Yep. And what's the competition like in the M2s? There's a few of the ones you used to kick around with back into 13, 14, 16. Are they all switching and lifted masters as well? So you'll get to maybe have another shot at Marinda again, or?
Marissa she had a really bad back injury, so she hasn't powerlifted since 2020, I don't think. But not really. The competition, well, I'll have to just compete against myself, really, especially in M2.
Yep. Yep.
But I can try and get the overall best lifter.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Against Kimberly Walford, you know.
Yep. No.
So she
Yeah,
was like an 8 times world champion. She was deadlifting 245 kilos, and this is 10 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's fierce. I love Kimberly.
That's a strong lady.
She's very strong. I'll send you some lifts.
Yeah, please.
Send you some videos.
Wow.
I've
That's
got
pretty
her
cool.
on my wall.
Yeah, that's cool. And then, so through that, was that a natural progression to coaching? Like, or were people that classic people just started asking you, "Hey, you're strong. Can you give me some tips on this?" And then you gave a few tips, and then you're like, "Hang on, maybe I could do this as well." Is that how you landed there, or what was the story?
So my coach, my CrossFit coach, that I actually still see once a week. He got me. I was doing a retail job because when I went to uni, I did fine arts, so naturally went into retail. And then he said, because I was really good at sales, and as you know, when you're a PT, most of it first up is sales. You've got to be able to, and he said he would apprentice me for a year. So then I apprenticed with him, and I learned how to run a business really well, and well enough. And from there, I was just doing your normal PT, like make people lose weight, build muscle. And then I was a CrossFit coach. And then once I just brought a lot of people along the whole journey with me. I've still got some of my old clients. So into powerlifting, and which once I started doing powerlifting and I got obsessed, I didn't want to teach anything else. And then I got my whole gym powerlifting, which we started in my garage. And eventually I had about 40 clients in my garage, and then I had to get a gym. And
Forced
I've
on
got
you.
about 105 members, and I can't go any bigger in my gym now.
And that was the...
Sorry?
Yeah, and that was it. The owning the House of Reps, for those that don't know, was forced upon you through necessity. No more room left in the garage.
Yeah, Leon, my husband, was like, "No motherfuckers in my house anymore."
If you got that many, mate, they would have been there all the time. They're probably in your toilet, in your kitchen. They're in everywhere.
I remember there were one guy. I love him, Sheldon. I love you if you're listening. But he used to go to my bathroom to psych himself up, and you just hear him in there like talking into the mirror and stuff before a lift. And my daughter would be out the side crying because she wants to go to the toilet. I just want to go to the toilet.
Oh, mate, meanwhile, old mate's getting G'd up to hit a big PR in your garage.
Yeah, I know. And then even because it's lifting, people would be there till 9:30 at night, and you can't really run a house like that. So during lockdown, Abby's dance school moved to different premises, and so I took over the tap room, which is tap dancing room, and then eventually we've taken over most of it, and we're just waiting for some people to move out of another space so we can take that one, and then we can extend again. Yeah, it's fun.
Jeez, that's pretty cool. And how do you find? And so you, at some point, you've obviously made that decision to stop working in the retail space and move 100% to coaching. How did you find that transition?
It was terrible. Luckily, when I moved from Sydney, I was at my mum's house, so I didn't have to worry about rent or anything. But I was doing retail. I still tried to keep it up for a little while. But do you remember? Have you ever worked in a Globo gym?
Thankfully, I have not. Nothing against those that have, but I have not. My career has been studio, and then a CrossFit, and then owning our own space. So I've never had to share in a big comp gym place.
Terrible. So I was at Fitness First, and you have to walk the floor. You have to offer free sessions. They sell these $30 PT sessions that
I remember those. I used to buy them.
Yeah, and so I was working from 6 a.m. or before till 9 p.m. and that was like 7 days a week. I'd go sleep in my car between clients and that kind of thing. I was still partying too, by the way.
That's a classic coach lifestyle right there. You haven't coached if you haven't car napped because you're that cooked from how many hours or late starts and late finishes you've done.
I'm trying to train and just living on caffeine and it was great.
Good decisions.
Yeah. But I managed to get a business of about 60 clients within about 6 months, but I was still apprenticing then, which was good for me because I don't have a very methodical brain. I kind of will spend my money just as soon as I get it, but Josh, he sorted me out. That's why
it's what it's for, though, right? It's for spending.
Yeah, it's for spending. What about tax? No tax.
The other classic coach mistake.
Yeah, I'm a millionaire.
What you mean I got to give 30% to somebody else? That's bullshit.
Can you believe it? I'm so angry about it. I just got another tax bill.
Oh, man, we're lucky enough to get... Yeah, I think an accountant said to me once, he goes, tax is a good thing. The more you pay, the more you've gotten.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like that.
Doesn't feel like that. I keep looking at the number that's going out and realizing I could do something with it. But that's all right. So it must be pretty cool then. Do you ever sit back and pinch yourself from where you're at now? Like from someone who just, picked up a barbell and did some CrossFits and now you've got a gym that's growing, client base over 100 and inspiring many other people and now coaching others to a world standard as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I was going to be an author or an artist or something like that, and I'd never thought about being an athlete. And none of my friends from school would have ever imagined that I'd ever be representing Australia in a sport. So yeah, I do. And back in the day when we were Powerlifting Australia, like Robert Wilkes was paying for me to go to international events all over the world, and that was fun. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was cool. He paid a hotel, paid tickets. I just needed my spending money. But he worked me hard. He was like, like an international comp every 3 months if he could. And I was like, in the end, I just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah.
It'd be nice to see powerlifting get to a point where all open athletes can get paid to go somewhere, eh?
Yeah, where the team gets sponsored, at least even their accommodation. That'd be good. It's been really good in the last year seeing the IPF affiliate. As you saw, the Nationals, they were pretty well run for. They were only around for 3 months,
Yep. Yeah, and that give you for yourself an interesting lay of the land because I don't want to get too political, but you've been through a few different versions of powerlifting IPF affiliated in Australia.
Yes, I have.
You could see, each year's getting better, which looks exciting for that space and the current iteration. I'm fortunate to have a little bit of exposure as well with one of my girls, Maya, doing it. I've really enjoyed everything that they're doing. I think it's great.
It's what it should be. It's
it looks very professional.
Yeah,
which is good. I mean, I love their social media. Everything they do there is awesome. The event, the Nationals, was sick.
It's just so good to actually have a fed that I'm not embarrassed by. Let's just, we're in like. That's all I'll say. But there's I'm proud to be in this fed,
Yep. And they look like they're doing some cool stuff and some strong humans coming through the mix as well.
Yeah, they've got somewhere to go now. If they want to go to Worlds, there's good comps for them to do.
And looking at Because I didn't follow the open team, but I do see their post. But I do follow the juniors as well. It looks like there's a big uptake to go and compete at Worlds as well, even though there is obviously a heavy financial burden to get to such an event. But that's how we grow the sport, to get more people on a podium eventually and take on and do things that like you've done. We need them competing at that high level.
Yeah, exactly. Masters Worlds, there's a huge team going, and that's probably because most of the Masters can afford to go. But Juniors was big as well.
Yep.
Opens next year, I think, is going to be massive because it's in Germany and lots of people want to go there as well.
Yeah, that's the trick. Add that holiday on the end there. And if you're a coach, perhaps a tax-deductible holiday can be put in there.
So your Worlds is in Florida?
Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, just outside a little place called Lyle. I think it's 30 minutes out of town. Don't know anything about it. Looks like a suburb, I think, just out of town. We were fortunate enough. We've been trying and wanting to build a world's culture in our gym for a long time, and we'd already set to go, and then stupid COVID, like everyone else, got impacted, and we weren't allowed to travel, so we missed out on literally this trip. We were all going to go on Chicago back then. And it's cool to see the evolution of the gym, because originally I think there was 4 of us going to go, me, my business partner, and a couple of members. But on this trip, I think we've got 12 or 14 members just from Fortitude doing the Worlds, which would be sick. And then we'll. So much fun. Yeah, it's going to be sick. And like everyone's there for mixed reasons. Some are just good enough to be there, so they've qualified, they get to be there and have a Worlds experience. And then some are competitive. And then you've got the partners coming on the side. I'm bringing the junior burgers with us as well. There'll always be 1 or 2 that are just coming over for the trip as well. And then I know from our Fed, I think last year we were just short of 40 went. And I think the team is a little bit bigger this year. So for even us as an organisation, it's great, because I don't think they've ever seen a team that big go to a World. So very excited.
Do Masters as well at the same time?
Yeah, it's one big all-in. It's insanity. It's one big all-in. Yeah, 600 people last year. So it's really cool. I mean, there's 100, 150 people lifting every single day, mixed ages, different events on every single day. It's great to go and do it. It's mad fun. And then, of course, it'll be huge. And then, of course, like for us, because the gym is going, we get behind it as a gym trip. So everyone's landing a little bit earlier, go to the ice hockey, and then we'll go and do a few road trips to some gyms. And then, of course, we'll go to the great West Side Barbell, already organised on the other side of the event, which I think will be the second competition, where, we obviously redline ourselves at the comp, and then at Westside, you're not going there for sets of 8. You're going there for heavy singles. So we'll go there and either or. I'm going to take an old deadlift suit with me, try and squeeze. And back then I was like 100, so I'm going to squeeze an extra 15 kilos into it and see what I can get out of it, which would be great. But yeah, that's probably the thing for us that we love the most is, the event and the competitive stuff is great, but like that experience is what I always talk about. Like, I always say to everyone, and I'm sure you'll probably agree, is that, in 5-10 years time, you probably will forget what you really lifted, or the meaning that you had behind it won't really be there. But that trip and that experience will be. And like, in fact, you'll probably remember more about, Billy, Dave, whoever, and their lift, and the story behind how they got to pull that last deadlift, and all that stuff is all the cool stuff that you'll remember, which is cool. So we're just starting to build a bit of a culture for that at the gym now, which is so much fun. And we're locked in as a gym. We'll go every year, and we'll take anyone who wants to go. We've got South Africa next year as well.
Oh, cool. Where in South Africa is it?
I think Durban.
Oh, that's where I'm from.
No way. Well, I think it's there. I remember seeing it somewhere on a website, and the website's been updated, and it just says South Africa. So who knows? Okay. As you know, powerlifting can be a bit upside down at times. Things change. But that'll be super cool. And then, like, for yourself, so with your own, obviously you're bashing training hard. We'll see your see the gram, you put stuff up. Your motivation for yourself every day, day in, day out, is to compete at that Worlds next year. Is that what's in the back of your mind?
I've got you've heard of the Sheffield?
I have.
So Australia's starting their version of the Sheffield, It's like a record breaker, and it's in about a month. And
Are they running the same model as Sheffield, like the same scoring system?
Yeah, not the same money, unfortunately, but
Yeah. Based off Australian records then? So if you beat the Australian record, then that percentage is what you'll get towards your total, etc.
Yeah. So
you'll be pretty competitive at that.
We all got invited, anyone that could break the records. So I'm not sure how many of us there are, but I'm doing that on I think it's the 26th, or whichever one's the Saturday, 26th or 27th. But
that's cool. And there's prize money. They've got some money in there.
Yeah, I think you get
awesome.
$1,500 for every record you break, and if you win, it's $4,500 or something. So which is better than I've never had anything except for Robert used to run a deadlift comp where you would win a trip to another comp if you won.
So you'll probably take squat, bench, deadlift record and take the overall. So nice little payday for you then.
I definitely would not take bench. My bench is not my thing. I might take squat and probably deadlift, and if I do get those two, then it would be total. And if I do get the highest percentage above the record, then I would win overall and get more. But we'll see.
Who would you be up against? Who's competitive in that space, in that kind of competing format for you?
So because you don't know what weight class anyone is in this comp, but I'm assuming that I'll be against Vicky. And there's a girl from USAPL, Kate, that's coming in. We'll probably be all in the same weight class. And then we'll all be vying for that total record and trying to get the highest percentage above. And because of that, overall, I'll also be against Yanni because she will be able to break the record quite significantly if she gets her lifts. And then also Isabella von Wiesenberg, do you know her?
Oh, yeah. Is she going to be there too?
Yeah, oh, damn. 76. It'll be a really fun comp. You should dial in. Yeah,
I'll be watching that then with 26.
Yeah, and lots of awesome guy lifters too. I just know the girls more.
I find girls far more exciting to watch for powerlifting than the boys.
Yeah.
We'll be watching that. I totally agree. When we run comps, I run the girls last on purpose because I think they're the show of the event. And so that comp will be huge. Is it exciting to see some prize money start landing in the sport for IPF style affiliated stuff? Because obviously on the other space there's been some prize money around for a little bit. But there's no reason why you guys shouldn't be playing for money.
No, it's such a good incentive, and I'm so glad because I was there at the beginning of raw powerlifting and in the drug tested, and then seeing it get to this level where it's almost on the brink of being like a real sport, if you know what I mean. Like, you start getting paid, which will be nice.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you just got to look internationally in Sheffield and what they've done. With that event, that's an insanity amount of money. And that comp, I think that comp's incredible. That's the standard. If someone wants to look at how to run a comp at an elite level, that's what you got to do.
Exactly. I wonder how long it's going to keep going that people can keep breaking the records.
Yeah. Do you reckon anyone sandbags them? Like, if they're going into a comp and they're like, I've got Sheffield coming up, I might only beat it by a kilo. So I can beat it by a fuckload more at Sheffield to take the prize money.
I mean, that'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
If you're going to win worlds, because you get a ticket if you win worlds, you try and do it almost by as little as possible so that you can beat it at Sheffield.
Just try and beat the world by a little bitty bit, win that, and then go to Sheffield and absolutely send it. The other thing that's exciting, like there's always conversation around powerlifting making Olympics. And you've seen it. You've seen the IPF comp being presented on the Olympic channel, if I'm not wrong, last year maybe.
Yeah.
On the YouTube. Do you think we get to see it sometime? Or what have they got to do to get there?
They had breakdance.
I mean, I draw plenty of similarities and say there's plenty of other sports that you could swap out for it. But
Yeah.
what do you reckon? Do you reckon they can do it?
I hope so. I can't see why not. From what I heard back in the day, so weightlifting and powerlifting were both vying to be in the Olympics, and powerlifting lost by one vote, and now they don't want us in because of the high rate of positive drug tests. But then
Yep.
weightlifting has the same issues.
Yep.
Now
Lots of
people
it.
say that it's not that interesting to watch, but I mean, I'm biased, so I find it really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Why is it
100%.
less interesting than what's that one which they do the thing on the ice?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think it's fire exciting. I mean, I think it's very comparable. I mean, they're both strength sports, right? Like one's throwing and catching it, the other one's picking up as much as they possibly can. I think there's a great product. I think it's very viewable on the internet, and I think with the popularity of barbells, I think it makes sense to normal people watching it because if you go back 15 years ago, no one really knew what a squat was. But nowadays, you can't. Everyone knows what the barbell squat is. You don't even need to go to the gym to know what it is. So I think I cross toes and fingers that one day the sport will be there.
I think they might do the thing like they did with breakdancing and give them a year.
Yep.
But we're making all the right. So the IPF are making all the right moves to get onto the Olympics. So they're following all the rules.
Yep.
Lots of normal people that have never weightlifted before like watching Olympic weightlifting. So you never know.
Yeah, 100%. And then I think like like you said, you just got to look at the juniors that are coming through. You can see the growth of the sport. There's so much more exposure, so many more people doing this thing. I feel like it could almost be forced on them that it's like, hey, because if you went to the normal gym, like how many people do you see throwing a barbell and catching it like an ollie lifter versus how many people do you see squatting and deadlifting?
Yeah.
And doing a bench.
Exactly. And in my gym, I've got like 70-year-old women as well as like 18-year-old athletes. So it's a universal sport, something that everyone can watch and appreciate and also do. But that's something I love about it.
Yep. Absolutely. I think hopefully, like I said, I'm toes and fingers crossed that we get to see this thing. Maybe little Kendra could be a future Olympian.
Yeah.
She would absolutely dominate. She's already got her own little barbell. And at our comp, we run a deadlift comp at the end of the year, and we do it in all ages up till sort of 10 or 12.
Oh, yeah.
And then we run the meet afterwards. So this one did her first one last year. And previous to that, one of our gym clients, her daughter at 18 months did that comp.
Oh, that is so cool. My daughter comes and does my strength groups.
Yep.
She's 13.
Yep. No, and loves it. Would she powerlift, or she just enjoys a bit of training?
No, she's doing the 3 lifts.
Yep.
So hates bench, but loves deadlift. Hates squat.
Yep.
She's got long legs. She's built like Leon, but
deadlift specialist.
She's going to be a deadlift specialist. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Liz, mate, I much appreciate you coming on for this one, mate. What is the vision for 2025? Liz Craven, coach, Liz Craven, athlete, and family person. What is coming your way for next year?
Well, I'm excited because I'm turning 50. So I'm going to go do a big hike in Tasmania next year for my 50th. But also lovely. I want to see if I could try and win Open Nationals one more time. That would be cool. If not, that's okay. I will win Masters Nationals.
Yep.
And then I will either go to Open Worlds or Masters World.
Yep.
And the main aim is to break the M2 world records there, and also some of the M1 if I can.
You take both.
Yeah, and get the new space in my gym, and then expand.
Yep.
That get some more coaches.
Yep.
It's doing really well. Everyone's likes. So we run it's small group and PT studio. There's no like just going in and training, but that's why we can't have any more than 100 right now. It's
Yeah.
too many people. But yeah, I need another coach and I need some more space.
Good problem to have as a business owner.
What's that?
Good problem to have as a business owner.
Oh, yeah, true. Besides that, I want to actually get back to my 160 squat and I want to deadlift over 190 at 50. That'll be cool.
50. That's freaking cool. And you'll be the only one because you'll have the world record.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. Well, Liz, mate, people will want to find you if they don't already know where you are, which they should, but in case the 4% do, how do they find you? Where are you hiding? Give you a little thing, a shout out.
So Liz Powerlifts is my Instagram. That's where most people find me, or just Liz at House of Reps. Gym.com is my email, but no spam.
Done. No spam, please. If you're in Canberra, check out the gym. It's awesome. If you need some coaching, Liz is awesome. And big comp, September 26th, October 26th?
October
26th. That'll no doubt be some links somewhere floating around on the internet to follow that. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, look on City Strength.
City Strength.
They're running it.
Wow. Well, that's going to be a big weekend for powerlifting. You got that on the 26th, and you've got Zero Pro happening on the same day.
Really?
As well. Yeah, wow. 26 October.
Is that a Saturday?
That's a Saturday.
Yeah. Yep. Wow, that is going to be big.
That's a big weekend for powerlifting in Australia.
No.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. I'll be watching. I'm lucky to. I've got one girl, one boy having a play at that one, so they'll be ripping in as well. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, Belinda Ryder, absolute savage, doing the 3 lift, trying to. I don't know if you know, she another more mature athlete in her early 50s, sticking it to the opens, in 60 weight class, and I got a young fella, a little bench specialist, a little nugget, trying to throw up at 100 over, I won't say what, because there's someone who's called him out and wants a crack at him, but we'll call it 220, and maybe there's more, but no one will know until the day, just in case we can take him. Sweet. Thanks for coming on, Liz. Mate, we'll be watching the show, and this will come out soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
So what'll happen, Liz, I'm doing a little backlog of stuff before I release them out. So I'll have I've got you.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Did you get the photos I sent you? They were just photos from competitions I sent you. Okay. Awesome. And you sound very, very lucid for a father of a newborn. Yeah. Imagine if we didn't have adrenaline. Yeah. That's all right. Great. Speak soon.